Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to Fins Talk today. I'm your host, Bobby Melendez, and that right there is Fish Tank Hank. Hank, I haven't seen you in a little while, my friend. How you doing?
I had some things come up. I had to take care of a few house things. So, sorry about that. Yeah, I had some house things come up that I had to take care of with the wife. So, we were a little busy last week. But no, I'm doing great. I'm liking what I'm seeing from my quarterback. There's a lot of good things going on down in Miami, let me tell you.
Absolutely. And first off, let me say good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are, all that
Or
whatnot.
good evening over in the
Good,
UK.
that's right. Good
Because
evening in the UK. And let me just say hello to Evan, Hammer Time, everyone who's tuning in right now. Thank you. As always, smash that like and subscribe button. Steve, good afternoon, sir. Evan sees, okay. Happy birthday to Evan's daughter, Gabrielle. She's 9 years old tomorrow. Happy birthday, Gabrielle. All right. And
man,
of course,
you got to remember, because I wasn't here last week, I owe Evan. So I'm gonna say to Evan right now, thank you, Evan. I appreciate you.
yeah, Evan came in. He said he was the young Hank last Monday,
He
the
was the
younger
young
version.
Hank. Oh my goodness. He also told me I need to smile in my profile for Twitter. But I don't
Mr.
know about all
Positivity.
that. I don't know about all that.
Well, let's get this started. Let's first discuss. Obviously, we're going to talk about on the show. We're going to talk, like you said, quarterback Tua clapping back at his critics. Finally, saying something and not just letting everything let people run off on talk. Barry Jackson talking about Connor Williams being the center or expecting to play center for the Dolphins. And then obviously, I discussed it last week on Overtime with Evan and Neil Cadero about the offensive ranking projections. But we haven't heard from you. So we're going to go ahead and hear from you today about what your prediction is for Miami Dolphins offense next season. But first, let's start off with Tua. On Wednesday, Tua clapped back at his critics. After practice, after throwing a beautiful pass to Tyreek Hill, he says, "quote unquote," for me, it's just it's just zone that out. We come out to practice. Everyone else, Twitter warriors, keyboard warriors, whatever you want to call them, they're not out here practicing with us, working hard. I don't know if you guys recorded that last one to Tyreek. I don't know about you, but that looked like money. Then he did his little motion, did his little sign. So this is actually the first time I've seen him address his critics on Twitter, the Twitterverse, and just in general. So I will repeat later after what you said, because whoever turned into Overtime knows my thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on Tua clapping back?
Well, I think it's funny. I mean, I hope he realizes there's a lot more support than all that negativity that's out there in the Twitterverse. Even though we are keyboard warriors, some of us are just a little older than Tua, like myself. So I can't do all those fun things Mr. Tua can anymore. But my youth was spent in the military, but that's okay. And I don't know. I think if he needed to blow off some steam or if he wanted to just tell him to shut up, I don't know, but he's not going to put up with it. Obviously, he's tired of putting up with it. And they seem to take everything and they'll take any little shot they can in negativity toward the kid and not look at the positive side of what the kid can or can't do. And, I'm not concerned, and I've said this for many, many, many months, for a couple of years now. I'm not worried about the kid's arm strength. It's not too often you're throwing the ball deeper than 50 to 55 yards in the air to begin with. So I really don't care about that. That's about where Tua can throw, 50 to 55 yards. That's not horrible. That's pretty good. Even in the NFL, that's still pretty good. 60 yards might be today's average. I don't know. But there aren't too many people that are throwing much further than that. So, for me, I think it's great that he spoke up for himself. I am glad that he waited till he was the leader of the team to do so, because then it had a lot more weight once he threw it out there. So I like it. I like it. I like the salty Tua, as Rich Eisen called him, salty Tua. Because I watched the little Rich Eisen and he kept saying, "Yay, salty Tua," and they kept playing that part back. Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's good to see it again. Like I was saying on Thursday, it doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on in regards of thinking Tua is the franchise quarterback or not. It's good to see your quarterback have some personality, and have some fire, and that has a lot to do, in my opinion, with the coaching staff, with Mike McDaniel, empowering his quarterback to feel free enough to let his personality out. Of course, it has to translate to the field. Everything looks good during practice. You can suck during practice and be great during game day, or be great during practice and be crap on game day. So it has to be when the pads are on, you really show your best. But what I love, the biggest difference I see from Tua this year compared to years past, the past two, is the personality, which is right now saying, hey, look, you guys love to throw all the negative stuff, but you didn't see that. Did you not see that pass? Look what we're doing. So
yeah, why don't they show any footage of that? You know what I mean? They don't show any footage of the positives. They just show the footage of that one's short, slightly underthrown.
Well, the thing is, too, I think a part of the problem is, and I was going to say this on Twitter yesterday because I was seeing a lot of the comments because I'm forgetting her name now, but an analyst or whomever said something about it's not about Tua's arm strength, it's about his accuracy and whatever. And everybody went to town on her. And I don't think it was just, I think everyone has a right to an opinion. But it's just, I think everybody on both sides of the aisle there, there's people that kind of meet in the middle, but they're the Tua haters and you got the Tua stands that go overboard on this whole thing with Tua. You overanalyze every little thing. He underthrows a pass. It's the end of the world. He throws a perfect pack. Look, he's great. To me, it's about what you do on the field. And, he's the best game I've seen him play was that Arizona game in his rookie year. That's the best version of Tua I've seen from before in the pros, other than college. Other than that, nothing's really satisfied. So this year, it's his year. If you really want to shut up the critics, it's put up or shut up during the season. And you know what? With the talent he has, but more importantly, I'm talking the talent on offense that he has, but more importantly, in my opinion, the coaching staff, he has the opportunity and the very strong possibility to shut those critics up and prove that he was worth drafted 5th overall in the NFL draft 2 years back.
He's gonna shut them up, because when he starts throwing those 20 to 30-yard lasers to Tyreek once he's open, or to Waddle, or to Gesicki, or to Raheem, or one of the other backs out of the backfield, I just, secondaries are going to have some trouble with the combination of speed that they're putting on the plate. Not only that, with McDaniel's new offensive scheme, we ranked, what was it, last or close to dead last in rushing. Now, don't you think that that's going to come up a little bit? Things like that. Those are the things that, a lot of this stuff is going to be elevated from where it was for Tua. And that includes the ball play of others. So I see big changes, and I see him probably coming out and blowing it up. And if he doesn't blow it up, then, I give up. If he doesn't come out this year and blow it up, then I'll give up. But for right now, he's still QB1. So,
well, I will say this. You brought up the deep ball earlier, and what I'm forgetting her name now, and I apologize, but she was saying there was never an issue with the deep ball, which is not true. Everybody talks about the deep ball as well. But for me, it's not. You don't have to throw 50 yards to Tyreek. Everybody automatically thinks because you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and whatever, that you have to throw it deep for them to succeed. It's not. What I said on overtime was that, and what I've been saying is the best thing about having a Tyreek or a Jalen Waddle or Insinkama or whatever is that you could throw them 10 yards out and they could go that 50 yards. You don't have to. You just got to get it on the money. And so that's where I stand on that. I don't think he needs to throw those 50-yard balls. It would be nice for him to throw deep, but he doesn't have to do that. It's the fact is just get the ball to your guy. Don't make mistakes. Be consistent. I've been consistent with that. Is that my issue with him is that he's not consistent. And people talk about accuracy. I've seen ball placement issues. Obviously, last year was just a mess. I think this is the year that Tua, especially with the coaching staff, with Mike McDaniel, he feels empowered, obviously, to speak up, but also to make bigger plays. Not only with that's not going to be the long ball. I don't project that at all. I don't care what anybody says, but just on offense with calling audibles and everything else. Evan says, "You're stirring the pot, Bobby. Your bro is stirring the pot." Yeah, I know. He's bored. He's sitting on his mother's couch and talking trash. That's okay. He's not gonna like that. But anyway, now let's move on. We're talking. The why Tua might be successful next year. Just as important as the coaching staff is the offensive line. Well, the Dolphins have addressed their offensive line in a certain way, not as much as they did the wide receiver unit, but they signed Terron Armstead from the New Orleans Saints, an all-pro tackle, and they signed 11th best guard last year, Connor Williams, to pair with Michael Dieter and Robert Hunt and Eichenberg, Austin Jackson, etc. Wasn't a lot of big changes, only two really, plus the undrafted free agent. Now everybody assumed, I had stated what I had heard or read, and that Connor Williams was being looked at as a center for Miami, and even though and people were going off on that, but now it's been said now that Connor Williams, everybody assumed Connor Williams would be at left guard and Terron Armstead at tackle, and everything else would need to be figured out. But no, that's not the case. What's being said is Connor Williams. Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald reports that Connor Williams expects to play center for the Miami Dolphins going into next season. So, left tackle, you got Terron Armstead. Left guard, you got a question mark. Center, Connor Williams. Right guard is Robert Hunt, unless he moves. And then you got right tackle, which is a question mark. So first off, before we get into the offensive line in general, Hank, what are your thoughts on Connor Williams projecting to be the starting center for the Miami Dolphins?
I like it because I don't really know that Dieter was the best fit for that. So I like the I guess you'll call it the upgrade. I'm hoping it is. And he could play either spot, I believe Connor Williams can. So I like his versatility. I think that he'll do great as a center.
I like that it just offers position flexibility.
Yeah.
He does have a little bit of experience at center, playing center, which was with the Cowboys. They played him a little bit during the preseason last year and in practice last season during the offseason. He struggled, but he does have some reps. But I'm going to say this. The reason why I like it or I'm okay with it, again, I'm going to say my trust in the coaching staff with their views. Now, if this was last year's coaching staff with that offensive line coaching staff, I wouldn't like it at all. But because it's Frank Smith, former offensive line and OC of the Chargers and the Raiders, Mike McDaniel head coach, Applebaum, Boston College offensive line coach, now the Dolphins offensive line coach. Because it's them and what I've been hearing from them, I trust their judgment to say I think Connor Williams is the best option right now at center, not Michael Dieter or J.C. Treader, who's still a free agent.
Wow, good point, Bobby. Good point.
Well, and then you got left tackle, Terron Armstead, Connor Williams at center. Left guard, what happens there? My opinion there, I would say for left guard, as I said on overtime, is Austin Jackson. He has the reps last season. Again, I know people say, oh, he didn't do great at left guard. But I say I trust the coaching staff, and what they can do with this kid. I think they obviously believe something in him or Eichenberg or both, because they didn't move them or they didn't really go crazy on upgrading the whole entire offensive line. They're there. And Mike McDaniel has stated that there are pieces on this offensive line, without specifying players, there are pieces on this offensive line that they believe they could get the best out of. But my opinion is they're talking about these two guys. So I'm thinking that Austin Jackson probably be the fit at left guard, Robert Hunt at right guard. I know Evan and Brett have talked about Robert Jones at right tackle. I think Eichenberg or Kellen Deach from Arizona State, the undrafted free agent, have a very strong chance to start at right tackle. What is your opinion on the offensive line? If Connor Williams is center, Terran Armstead at tackle, how does the offensive line fit in your opinion?
I'm thinking like you're thinking Jackson might go over to left guard and then throw Eichenberg over at right tackle. Is that what you were thinking?
Who at right tackle? I'm sorry.
Eichenberg?
Yeah, Eichenberg or Deach.
Okay, all right. Well, I would see Eichenberg over there, I would hope. But I don't know. Are you putting Eichenberg at left guard or are you putting Jackson at left guard?
I would have Jackson at left guard, but there are people saying that put Eichenberg at left guard, which he has the size, he has the power. He struggled last year, as did Jackson, even though Jackson showed some improvement at that spot. But I think, honestly, because he has more experience there from last year, I would have Austin Jackson at left guard. And then maybe Eichenberg, I'd let him challenge for that right tackle position with Beach or whomever is there, Robert Jones, as Evan and Brett has said. So, yeah, I would have Jackson there. But if you would have Eichenberg there, what would you do with right tackle?
Yeah, I like Eichenberg at right tackle if Jackson's over at left. But I'm one of those people, like you were just talking before, I trust the coaching staff to make those decisions when it comes down to the final nitpick of what they're doing, because we don't get to see them. We don't get to see what they're doing. We don't get to watch their practices. We don't get to see all that. So we have no clue what's going on until they come out and start letting the public in, and then you get to see. And by that time, before August, they'll start to solidify who's going to be where. But I like either combo, to be honest with you, with Jackson at right tackle and Eichenberg at left guard, or vice versa. I like both of those situations, to be honest. And the reason I like those situations is because you do have that new coaching staff that I believe might be able to get a lot more out of Jackson and Eichenberg.
Absolutely. And you were saying we don't know what we see in practice. I don't think we care to see what's in practice. We rather pay attention to what the quarterback is doing in practice. That's why you got videos all the time. Show me offensive line videos. Let me see how those guys are doing. But Evan brings up a good point. I brought it. I think I said this last week too at one point, but Evan's bringing up now that the great thing, and which I think is fair to say, if you put Austin Jackson, who is a first rounder, they spent the first round pick on this kid. You put him with Terran Armstead, and not only that, Connor Williams to his right, Armstead to his left. Austin Jackson, you have one of the 11th ranked best guard in the NFL last year, and you have an all-pro tackle to mentor Jackson. Plus the coaching staff, you could get the best out of this kid. Plus he has that little bit of experience he gained last season. So for me, Austin Jackson at left guard makes the most sense. Right tackle, you let them battle it out. The only crappy thing about that is right tackle, because Tua is left-handed, is his blind side, and you're kind of trusting
which means he rolls out. See, but he rolls out to his left, Bobby.
Rolls out to his
left.
And but the other question with that is that can Terran Armstead remain healthy? And then who do you put at left tackle if Armstead goes down? Ball prediction.
That's the big question. You just hit the nail on the head. That's the big question, Bobby.
Absolutely.
Is he going to stay healthy? And I'm not worried, because the way that McDaniel sets up his scheme is to have the quarterback rolling out. So I like it. They'll just run away from the right side half the time, and there's nothing anybody can do. What are you going to do against Armstead? You don't have a choice. He's going to push you around.
And Evan writes, bold prediction, Gesicki learns to block. We'll see. I don't know about that. Robert Jones at right tackle. Hammer time, Tua number one. I'm with you, Hank. What's up, Hammer time? Now we're going to move on to the prediction. So we're our offensive rankings for next season. I will go ahead and go over what I had predicted, Hank, what we went over on overtime, and then we will finish the show with your predictions for the offense going into next year. But first, let's review last year's numbers for the Dolphins. Last year, the Miami Dolphins were ranked 25th in the NFL. 25th. Total yards, they had 5,219 yards. Passing, they only had 3,651 yards. That's between Tua and Jacoby Brissett. Rushing, 1,568 yards, only 92 yards per game. And, of course, they only scored 341 points. That was a 20.1 average game, which won't win you a lot of football games, even though the Dolphins finished with a winning record. They were 17th in passing between Brissett and Tua, 30th in rushing, which is just disgusting, ridiculous in my opinion. Receiving, 18th, and then they were 23rd in downs. So, it's just a mess last year. And again,
so you got downs, which is crappy play calling. You got receiving, which half of them couldn't get separation. You got rushing, which the offensive line was such an abysmal, it doesn't matter who you put back there. And you got passing, which obviously you only get 2.5 seconds. You're not going to be able to throw the ball up. I don't care who's back there. So, okay, yeah, I understand each one of those numbers. But 25th is right where I thought they were lower than that, Bobby.
I did as well. But they were 25th. Now, this coming season, the Dolphins, yes, you got to talk about the offseason, right? They won the offseason. They've done that before, but they did it this year with for the first hiring Mike McDaniel. Then they went out and got their crown jewel in Terron Armstead. They got Cedric Wilson. And let me make sure I have this right here. I do. Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson, Raheem Mostert, Alec Ingold, Chase Edmonds, Connor Williams, and then, of course, Teddy Bridgewater as their backup quarterback. So that was the additions on the offense. They only lost key losses were Devontae Parker, Jesse Davis, and Allen Hurns. I don't count Brissett there. Not much Allen Hurns either. But Miami had a lot of backup wide receivers. It was Jalen Waddle and just everybody else. Devontae Parker couldn't trust. But this year, it's not the case anymore. Miami has Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson. They have the kid they drafted, Eric Ekuzima or whatever. I know I'm going to butcher that. I know Evan's probably going to get on me. But Lynn Bowden as well. It's just a different set of wide receivers here and a more reliable receiving core for Tua. Offensive line, you got Terron Armstead, Jackson, Connor Williams, Jones, Hunt, Eichenberg, whomever's going to be at that right tackle spot. But the most important thing that's going to help this offense, in my opinion, is the coaching staff, Mike McDaniel, Frank Smith, and company, Wes Welker, Embry, etc. What they're going to put together for these guys. So first off, Hank, let me go ahead and read and tell you what I think how it's going to look. So next season, I'm going to say this is how the rankings are going to look for the Dolphins next year, in my opinion. The Dolphins are going to go to rank 13th in the NFL next year in passing. They're going to go from 30th to 10th in rushing. And I'm not going to say the reason why they're jumping from there is not because of just the running backs with Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds and Myles Gaskin. I think the receivers are going to have a big play in this. Now, I'm talking about Jalen Waddle and Tyreek and Lynn Bowden and Izu Kanma. Thanks, Evan. I think these guys are going to have a big hand in what the rushing attack should be next year. And I think Miami's going to move from 30th in the NFL all the way to the 10th ranking in the NFL for rushing. Receiving, they're going to be 13th. Downs, they'll move up from the 20, whatever it was I had there, to the 23rd to the 15th ranked offense in downs in the NFL. Total yards, they're going to jump up to 6,091, Hank. Passing, I have them going 3,991, almost 4,000 yards. Rushing, 2,100 yards. And points, 419. That's about 25 points per game average, in my opinion, from 20 to 25. So that's where I look. So I have Miami projected from the 25th ranked offense next year, finishing the season at the 15th ranked offense with the new additions, the coaching staff. I'm happy with that number. I think it's fair. I'm excited if Miami could actually hit that, but all things have to hit. It does fall on the quarterback, but it falls on everybody else as well. In your opinion, how's Miami's offense looking next year?
Man, they're looking way better than that. Way, way better than that. I have Miami, in my opinion, and I did some polls on this too. You saw the polls. And I asked what my folks thought the Dolphins were going to be. And people said that they think they'll be a top 10 in the offense and they'll be a top 10 in defense. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then my projected numbers have to equal a top 10 at least. So, because that was my guess, that both will be a top 10 and that Miami is going to go deep in the playoffs. So, passing, they're going to be ninth. They're going to be ninth because like you said, they're not going to be able to crowd the box anymore, which means there's going to be a lot more running plays coming out. When those running plays come out, they're going to trip people up. And they're going to start to go after the run a little bit, and that's when they're going to unleash. They're going to unleash all that speed on everybody and start passing the ball 20 to 30 yards down the field. See, everybody's expecting the dink and the dunk. That they don't think he can go deep, but are they expecting the 20 to the 30-yard line passes? No, they're not. With everything they've added, with the fact that he'll get more time in the pocket, that number just only goes up. And like I said, you have backs coming out of the backfield that have pure speed that they'll be passing to. Those numbers are going to go up. So that's what I say for passing. Ninth. Rushing, I think rushing, they'll actually be 13th. I think they'll be lower than you think they are. I understand why you put that, and I completely get it. And if McDaniel's system works like they think it's going to work, then it should. And like I said, my prediction is 10th. So, 13's not that far off from where you're at, but that's how I see it. Receiving's going to go way up. That's going up. That's going to be I'm going to give that an 8. They're going to be 8th in receiving. Just the new schemes and what I believe that the offense is going to be able to do. It's going to be such a night and day between what it was last year and what it's going to become this year. And people aren't going to believe it, but you'll see. Downs, obviously, they're going to be 10th. Total yards. Woo, that's a hard one. I don't know what the total yards are going to be. Off the top of my head, but I think the passing yards, I think Tua will have 4,500 plus passing yards. I think rushing, they'll gain. I think they're going to be a little higher. I think they're going to be 2,500 there. And then the points per game. I'm going to say that's higher also. That's going to be way more than 20. I'm going to say 450.
Let me ask you this. Could you tell me what your passing ranking was again? I heard the rushing and receiving.
What my passing was going to be?
Yeah. You had 9th in the NFL. Okay. So
9th, 13th in rushing, and 8th in receiving, and downs they'll be 10th.
Okay.
Passing will be 45, rushing will be 25. I don't know what it all adds up to, but
yeah.
And their points will be 450. Because I think they're going to be a lot closer to 30 points a game this year.
I know, let me see. I think Neil had 15th ranked. They had between 12th and 15th total offense. Evan had it top 10. He believes it will be because of these scores. So I don't think your number's out of reach. I will say this though, is that when I look at this offense with the staff and everything else, the reason why I have the running game at 10 and I had the passing game at 13 with the receiving, because if you look at the numbers, especially San Francisco, and you compare those, the running game was ranked higher. The focus of a Shanahan style offense, McDaniel style offense, is the running game. So yes, receivers. If you look at the receiving core, I mean, there's so much potential there with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and everyone else. But I think I'm not. And you look at the running backs, and yeah, it's not a sexy list by any stretch of the imagination. I don't care what anybody says. However, they're not going to be also the focal point of this. The receivers are going to have a lot to do with the running game. And the way McDaniel calls this offense, or what he's called it in the past with Shanahan, is they're very strong with the running game. So that's why, in my opinion, I think the running game, people are going to be very surprised. I think the running game is be more important than the receiving and the passing next year. And I think that's why Tua is going to benefit from this, because if you're saying, I think it's added pressure to think Tua is going to have be ranked 8th or whatever in the NFL. I think the reason why Matt McDaniel is such a great coach room post hire and after seeing what I'm seeing is because he's going to take that pressure off of him. It's not about the quarterback throwing, because look at Jimmy G and the guys pass. It's about the whole offense, especially the running game. It's going to take a lot of pressure off your quarterback. It's something that Evan brought up on Thursday about Tyreek Hill adds, had 2.5 seconds or whatever. That Tyreek adds half a second. Jalen Waddle was like that as well. He added that half a second. When the offensive line was failing, you could just dump it off to that wide receiver and he could take it down the line. I think these weapons do that for Tua, and I think the running game is going to be a huge part of that, in my opinion. And I think that's why the pressure is really off of him, because he doesn't have to do that much to be successful in this offense.
But I also think vice versa, Bobby. I also believe that the running is going to help the passing. Not just the passing is going to help the running. Because we had an abysmal running game. And if you're 30th, that's what you said, the chart said was 30th, if I recall. And you go from that far down, you're going to definitely be moving up to some degree, is what I'm trying to say. You're definitely going to be moving up. And, like you said, Shanahan's. Okay, well, this is McDaniel's. See, and I haven't seen the McDaniel dust yet. In other words, I haven't seen the wrinkles that McDaniel's going to put in that Shanahan didn't, because there's going to be some. I know he's going to try to open it up downfield. You don't have 4 people on the field with that much speed where you don't throw that ball downfield. There's no way. They're going to go downfield at some, I think they're going to go downfield a lot more than the Niners do. That's just what I think. I also believe, like you said, I totally agree with you with every point you made that, yes, the running game is going to help the passing game, but also vice versa for me. I think that the receiving game is actually going to be a lot more than people are expecting, especially with Tua hitting the running backs out of the backfield too, because those wide receivers are going to pull everybody, and then the running backs are going to come streaking out of the back, and you just dump it off to them, and zoom, there you go, get 20, 30-yard pickup. Either way, I just think that the numbers are going to dramatically go up for both rushing and passing.
So my final ranking for the offense this year is 15th from the 25th to 15th. Yours is 25th to what's your final ranking for the offense?
10th
in the NFL. Okay, so we're gonna write that down. We're gonna talk about the defense just for a little bit because I want to finish off with that. But we're not gonna talk about the rankings yet. That will be for next FinStalk today. Now, I want to talk about this very quick. Thanks, Steve, Evan, Hammer Time. Appreciate you all. Alex, I see you there. Thank you all for tuning in. Pro Football Focus had it ranked. I couldn't find the rankings, but I did see the tweet. Ranks the Dolphins secondary as the best in the NFL. Supposedly, again, I couldn't find the rankings. Maybe one of the guys who are watching did, and maybe they could let us know. But they ranked the Dolphins secondary, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Needham, etc., with, of course, Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, company. They ranked them second best in the NFL. This is a tweet I saw. I mean, I couldn't see the list, so forgive me. I think they supposedly Baltimore was number one. That's what I saw. I thought I saw in the comments when I was trying to find information. I know I was a little put off by that, but Miami has the number two. Either way, number two is a good number. So, what's your viewpoint? Is Miami right in your opinion? Truthfully, is that a fair assessment to say Miami's the second best secondary in the NFL?
I think they're a top 5 secondary. Yes,
They're up there. You wouldn't say number two, but they're definitely top 5.
They're top 5, no doubt in my mind. Top 5 secondary. And, the defense is going to surprise some people also. But, yeah, I got them top 5.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think you're right. And they have the potential to be top 2, top 1, the number 1, because of the talent. Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Needham, Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, and then I'm probably forgetting a name or two, but I mean, they have the potential to be one of the best secondaries, if not the best secondary in the NFL. Have they lived up to that potential? They have not. They've shown glimpses of it, but I could tell you what, Javon Holland, I know everybody loves Xavier Howard, as I do. I have his jersey and everything, but I think Holland is the future of the secondary. That kid is going to be one of the top guys, and in my opinion, in the NFL. I think it's a projection to be a top 5 safety. Just the way he played last year, I think he has that opportunity. And the great thing about the Dolphins defense, and we'll get into this more next week, Hank, that I like about is that they kept the majority of the coaching staff the same, and that's good for Mike McDaniel because you keep that chemistry going while you're trying to rebuild this offense. Now you get this defense with a few added pieces. I think, and obviously with the way you did with getting the veteran Melvin Ingram, that helps the secondary as well. So yeah, they project to be as great as they could project to be second best in the NFL. They have the potential to do that. So I think you're fair. Top 5 ranked for sure. They have the potential to go to number 1 or number 2. I don't know about Baltimore. I know Eric Rowe. Thank you, Evan. But I don't know about Baltimore. That was crazy. I have to see that list, but so forgive me for not getting it. But Miami as the second best. We agree, top 5 for sure. All right, so guys, it's a Saturday. This is not a one-off. This is our new time. Saturdays, Fins Talk today with me and Hank. We start your mornings off talking Miami Dolphins. If you like the
or
show,
evenings if you're in the UK.
Yeah, that's right. Evenings if you're in the UK. Smash that like and subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at the Fins Talk Network. If you'd like to be involved in the show, come on, give your opinion. Please message Hank, message myself. Hank will let me know. We'll get you guys on. This is your show, Fins Talk Overtime. Let's discuss it, the new time. So for Saturdays now, it's going to be Fins Talk today with me and Hank, as always, giving you the great Dolphins content, fun, drink some coffee, sit back. If you're Hank, get some grass and then enjoy some Dolphins talk on a Saturday morning. And then, of course, what happens with overtime? Overtime was Thursday nights at 8 p.m., but now we've switched that to Monday nights at 7:30 Eastern time. That's me, Brett, Evan, Neil, and any guest. We just have guest TD. We've had Miss Fins, great Dolphins content. Check out Fins Talk Overtimes on Mondays at 7:30 Eastern time. Hit that like and subscribe button to keep up with all the show, the programs and everything we got going on here. And of course, our new show, of course, this is Fins Talk Network, but as Miami fans, Miami is my sports town. I grew up there in Hialeah, Florida, so I got to talk about other clubs as well. Why stop at Dolphins? That's overtime in today. But on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to have a Miami Heat podcast, the Goon Squad. This is Wednesday night this coming week. Hank, we got, of course, I will be there. We got Alex Atia Chiska, Razor, and Harrison, who's been in the commissary trying to start trouble. He'll be on. Neil Cadero, and of course Juan will all be on there as well. We're going to talk about the Miami Heat, their offseason, the draft coming up, what they need to do to take that final step to get to the finals and win a championship while Jimmy Butler's still in a Heat uniform, and does that continue? But that's all the exciting stuff we have at the Fins Talk Network. I'm excited about it. We got all these great content. So, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to get involved with any of this, just message me. I want you to get involved. I love the more the merrier. Let's get this show rolling. Let's build this community. Hank, you got any final words for us, my friend?
Yeah, we never did find out from anybody what their thoughts were. They thought the offense was going to rank.
Well, I know Evan for sure thinks it's top 10. Neil was top 15. Steve, what do you think? Hammer time. You guys are still on. Tell us what you guys think, where Miami might rank next season. If you don't have a specific number, give us the average. Top 10, top 15, top 20, whatever you think. Love to hear from you guys before we close this out.
About to close it out. Yo, yeah, I just want to say that I have a buyer for my house.
Congratulations.
And my wife and I will be in Orlando for a couple of years, and then we'll be in France. So.
And you're a season ticket holder for next year for the Miami Dolphins.
And I have season tickets, so I hope you folks come out and join me if you're in Miami. Come on down to Miami Gardens and let me know where you're at, because I'd love to tailgate with you. Maybe come eat some of your food.
That's right. And that's what it's all about. Steve, before we close out, Steve has 15th in the NFL, so he's right with me and Neil on that. I think that's fair. Hammer time hasn't got in there yet, but that's okay. Top 10 for Evan. Hey, guys, as always, thank you for tuning in to Fins Talk today. We'll be back next Saturday talking defense and what the defense could possibly look like next year. Again, smash that like and subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter, Fins Talk Network, Fins to Win on Twitter, Fins Talk, Bobby Fins Talk. And as always, Fins up. We'll see you guys next week.